Now, I get my proverbial ass kicked over needing people in my comfort zone. Without this thing being about me in any way, if you don't think I can't operate out of my comfort zone, you're so wrong. It's unbelievable. This is as big a risk as you could take. As big a risk as you could take. No head coaching experience.
It was one of the weirdest pressers we have seen in some time.
Brian Shottenheimer is the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Here I was thinking Jerry was afraid he was going to die and that he needed to hurry up and win a championship before it happened. And now apparently he's got like a 30-year plan.
For Jones, like there's winning, attention, and then like loyalty is maybe above winning. And the idea that he was going to go internal makes a ton of sense to me.
Literally no one's ever been happy to have Brian Shottenheimer as the offensive coordinator ever.
I don't think he's bad per se at his job. It's never, ever occurred to me that he would be like a head coach.
He got a last name we recognize, and it done took this long for somebody to make him a head coach. That means that just wasn't in the cards. Is there a single other owner who would have hired Brian Shottenheimer to be their head coach? I don't think so.
And many lambasted the hiring from Bomani Jones.
In the wake of the Jerry Jones comments, it has become clear to me that much of the timeline is not familiar with the antiquated mining term glory holes, referring to a 10 to 20-foot hole wherein prospectors hope to strike gold and become rich quickly. As for the other term, which is more widely recognized, I would put the percentage around 0, having played in the NFL a long time.
To former NFL player Chris Long.
The buzz today has really just been Jerry Jones and just the way that press conference went down. I mean, it should be studied because there were so many moments of just awkwardness. There were moments, it was some moments where he was emotional. The whole thing was really weird. And I kept thinking, if I was Brian Shottenheimer, does this owner want me here? Because there was some tone in there where it was kind of, it could be condescending at times.
And media staple Diana Rossini speaking with the Dan Le Batard Show. More from Jones.
Let me share something with you. With all of that, you've just heard him reference his osmosis, his family. Anybody in this room that doesn't believe the apple doesn't go far from the tree has missed it someplace down the road, especially if there was an effort to make it that way, and there was an effort. But then you go around to the countless numbers of coaches that Shotty has served on staff with and been around, the countless players. How often do you have someone that has 25, I'm going to say 25, it may be 26, of years of working through the human relationship and working, aspiring to learn, have his ears and eyes wide open and looking for techniques and looking for things that make coaches better.
Let's be clear, it's January. There's one game left on the NFL calendar. The conversation at this point in time is, did they win the press conference? The answer to this at the Star is a resounding no.
Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Rick Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStrom Show. Also be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you.
So I've seen it when I was a pup. I have a good background in the makeup of what a coach is. To think that you could make a decision in an interview and not have talked, if you didn't and hadn't ever communicated or had a visit, I wouldn't dare have had an interview unless I talked to many, many people that knew that person and had had those kinds of life experiences, knew their story, if you will, Shotty, knew their story. I've read where I don't have a penchant for risk-taking. If you really knew my score sheet, you would see that I've taken more risk in the last 5 years than the rest of my life put together. And sometimes I don't know when I look in that mirror why the risk is taken.
There's so much more from this presser that basically felt like Jones stroking his own ego because he knows what's best, though the last Super Bowl appearance by this team was in 1996.
Every time there's a player that needs an extension, he waits until the last second. In this situation, there's so many coaches, and we talk about, Troy Aikman says that it's not a desirable job, but maybe he's right compared to other jobs. But I'm pretty sure there's some pretty high-profile coaches or coach candidates that would be happy to take on the challenge of the Dallas Cowboys. And I guess the reason why he didn't stick with Mike McCarthy, we're not sure exactly the true reason why. I'm just presenting it because it seems like some broke behavior.
To give an idea of the reaction, Cowboys legend Michael Irvin would say, and I quote, "We lost an opportunity here. I don't know what happened with Coach Schottenheimer and the Cowboys, but Jerry, who is a team owner and GM, is a shrewd businessman. And this opportunity, I'm shocked he did not see. I was pushing for Dion to be the next coach. We're losing ground in the NFC. It was time to bring somebody in here that could shake things up and grab this last leg of Cowboys Nation. If we've got 30 years right now and life expectancy is 100, that means by math, 1/3 of Cowboys Nation has never felt or lived the glory of a championship story." I understand what he's saying. I'll react to this. Why didn't they get Deion Sanders? Deion played for Dallas. He's in Boulder right now. Beautiful, by the way. Beautiful campus, beautiful town. But how... I understand Jerry is hyping up his guy, but how do you just keep striking out over and over, and you give the longest leash to Jason Garrett, and then you flub the Mike McCarthy situation? I'm dumbfounded.
I don't know how to describe that press. I've seen a lot of press conferences. I've attended a lot of press conferences with some of the biggest names who've ever coached. That's as weird as I've ever witnessed a press conference where it was a little bit about Brian Shottenheimer. It was a whole lot about Jerry Jones. A whole lot about Jerry. Brian Shottenheimer remembering his father, Marty, he starts to cry. And it was like a nice moment. And then Jerry has to bring up that he, too, lost his dad. And then he started crying as well.
Media legends like Dan Patrick also thought it was odd.
And I'm going, wait, did your dad just die, Jerry? No. It became like Jerry, it felt like Jerry was taking over the Cowboys as their head coach. It really did. And he kept... he was talking about this, that, I took a big risk on that. Like, it felt like Brian Schottenheimer wasn't there. It was fascinating. It really was to watch that. And here's Jerry trying to convince you that he knows football. His dad taught him football. Hey, I took a risk on Shotty here. It was as if Brian Schottenheimer wasn't there.
Like the Cowboys, Jerry Jones' best years are behind him. And I'm sorry if that is raw and rough, but you know what? This team has been pretty much irrelevant in my time as a football consumer. And they talk about America's team, even though the Steelers just passed up on being America's team. That's a fact. And they talk about how they represent the country. They don't represent the country. What they represent is what has been. And I'm confident in saying, as long as this man is running the ship, it won't change.
If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.